Okay, so here's our plan. We're going to come down 33 to the Northwest Road. We're going to pass the Flanagan Trailhead. We will drive over and drop my car at the Gum Pond Trailhead. We will then drive up and around to Braziel Trailhead. Then Friday afternoon, we're going to hike down 223. When we get to this intersection of 208, we're going to go 208 to 224. We're going to come down 224 to the junction of 204. We're going to hike down, and we're thinking about camping right here at this bend where we're close to water at B Branch above East B Falls. Then Saturday, we'll hike back out 204, back to 224. We're going to follow it all the way down till we get to Borden Trailhead, and that will be lunch. We will probably hang out there in the cool water for a while. Then when we are ready to go, we're going to hike back up 207, back up to the Gum Pond Trailhead where my car is located, where I have a cooler full of cold water, drinks, and some snacks, the rest of my food. Then we're going to come over to where this crosses Haygood Creek. It's a little over a half a mile. We're going to camp there Saturday night. And then Sunday, we're going to hike the rest of the 7.3 miles back up to Braziel, and then come drive back around, get my car, and then drive home. That's a total loop of about 20.5 miles. See you on the trail. So here I am at the wonderful Gum Pond Trailhead, and as you can see, there's not much here. I'll be leaving my car here, which will be close. We're going to be camping close by tomorrow night, Saturday night, and my cooler will be stocked full of food here. So now my buddy's on his way. We're going to make a drop at the Borden Trailhead for some cold drinks for tomorrow during lunch, and he will be here shortly. So now I'm going to get my pack ready, make sure I have everything. We're at the Braziel, or Braziel, however in the world you say it. It is 6:19. We're about to get started. 88 degrees. We're the only ones at this trailhead. We're going to get started. We're going to hike about 4 miles, and then we're going to call it a night.
Morning folks going to work. The scab has just now come off.
Oh wow.
You can still see where it happened. I thought for sure I'd probably done knocked the big bone chip off.
Alright, so it's Saturday morning. It's 8:40. We are packing up camp, as you can see. We are here camped at the top of 204 Alpha. So we have eaten breakfast. We have gotten some water. I got down to a low of 72 last night, and sounds like maybe a little bit of rain. And so now we did, last night we did 4.66 miles according to my GPS. So now we have about another 3 to 4 miles to the Borden Creek trailhead where we're going to have lunch and hold off, maybe see what the weather's going to do. If it gets hot, we may hang out there for a while before we get headed up the next trail. Horse trail was in great shape. There were some spots that if it had been raining, they would have been muddy where the horses have it turned up, but we made great time. Had a good trip, and so we're going to pack up and head on out.
Nuh-uh. Is that what Andrea's in, the Air Force Reserve?
Yeah. 10:13. I had to check the GPS. We're a little over a mile, 1.1 miles from Borden Trailhead. Straight line. But as you can tell, this trail is pretty darn straight. So we don't have much farther than that to go. And we've got some cold Gatorades waiting on us uphill from the trailhead, which is the bad part, but they'll be good. Making good time. Just like I said, taking some water, get the packs off for a few minutes, and keep on trucking. 11:13. We have just made it to the Borden Creek Bridge, so we are very, very close to the trailhead. We're gonna, as you can tell, it's raining a little bit, which is fine. Gives us some water flow and helps cool us off. I don't know what's rain and what's sweat, but we've made pretty good time. We're gonna take a little break here, and then we will head up our next trail toward Gum Pond Cemetery. So far, the horse trail was pretty nice. It was pretty flat. It actually had a little bit of scenery, had some wildflower, but it wasn't, you know, the normal Sipsey type scenery. It was pretty nice and enjoyable. Luckily, we did it before this rain, and we didn't really have any spots that were muddy. But there's no water on it, so you have to pack your water on the trail. So far, we've done 2 trails. We marked 2 trails off our list. And so now we just have the other 2 trails left the rest of this weekend to finish. So we'll see y'all soon. Alright, so lunch break was over. I had 2 wonderfully cold, still ice in them Gatorades. Had a nice small Coca-Cola. We had lunch. We rested. It's 12:50. We're back at came back downhill to the trail. And now we're about to take the 207/203 trail. And then we will split from 207. We'll cross the Borden Creek and go up there. We have about 4.3 miles, I think, to Gum Pond trailhead where my car is located, hopefully still, without a tree on it. And that's where we have our next cooler stash of drinks, snacks, and food. 227. So we've been hiking, about an hour and a half. It's a pretty nice trail. Not a whole lot of elevation change, but it is humid out here. And my shirt is soaking wet, and it's not from rain. But we're probably another 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes from the car. Do some nice cold water and some Powerade. And so I think we're making pretty good time. Here's the trail. It's down that way. And a creek down behind the camera. We're kind of up on a ridge, so the trail followed the creek for a while, and now it's on a ridge following it around. 2:56, not too long after my last video where we were having a water break. And believe it or not, as dark as it looks out here, it's really only 3 o'clock. Has some light drizzle, and with the canopy, it's just kind of dark. But right after that video, we went through my least favorite part so far. The section where it was about waist high and weeds, blackberry bushes, just all grown up, really closed into the trail. It's hard to even tell the trail was there. Now it's opened back up quite a bit, and so it makes me a little more comfortable with old Jake out. So, like I said, it's 3 o'clock. We took a little extended water break. We're just passing time, going to the trail, thinking about maybe getting to the car and driving into a restaurant to have some good food before we come back and camp out and continue hiking tomorrow. A lot of that depends on when we get there and what we feel like, etc. So anyway, just to give you an update, it's not sundown. Gosh, we have another 5 hours. The sun doesn't go down to about 8. So it's just dark in here. It's a little bit kind of spooky. 3:17. We were walking down the trail and we saw 2 hogs just around the corner. They were just right behind me. It's the first time I've seen hogs since I've been out here. I've always seen them in the car. They were 2, maybe knee high. And they ran off down that way behind us into the creek. So it's pretty exciting. Oh, Trail 207. We have made some memories today. It's 4 o'clock on the dot. And the reason it took us a little longer is, as I said earlier, we saw 2 hogs. We went through some snaky area. And then, just a few minutes ago, a timber rattler across the path. I am somewhat not sad to say, there is one less alive timber rattler in the Sipsey wilderness. had it gotten off the path and out of our way, it had a chance for survival. However, that is not the case. So here we are at the glorious Gun Pond Trailhead, drinking a nice and refreshing Blue Powerade. I'm going to sit here and refresh and then decide what we're going to do next. We've been hiking since roughly 9 o'clock this morning, off and on, completely drenched with sweat and tired. So until later, I bid you adieu. So here it is 6:56. Quick update. We felt like a billy goat. Old Rick in the background. We went to Moulton and had an awesome Frisco burger from Hardee's, which we promptly demolished. So we came back, and here I am in my setup, and we were going to have to camp about 0.7 miles from the car, uphill to the car, where we also saw the timber rattler. So instead, we found a nice little spot by the road. So I'm going to get in that hammock, and I'm going to take a nap. And then I'm going to get up and eat again. So as you can tell, I've changed clothes. I cleaned up the best I could. Put on some nice, dry, clean clothes. Feels awesome. If I could get a foot rub, it'd be even better. And I don't like people touching my feet. So 7 o'clock, you'll probably see me in the morning as we're eating breakfast and packing up. Alright, good morning. 7:34. We are packing up, getting ready to head out. As you can tell behind me, we have broke camp. Slept over here in a little spot beside Flanagan Creek. And thank goodness the frogs, the toads, whatever in the world they were, finally shut up last night so we could get some sleep. We have decided to lighten our packs since we're hiking from my car to the other vehicle. So basically we're taking map, compass, GPS, camera, etc., snacks and water, and a filter. And that's it. Tarp, hammock, sleeping bag, tent, whatever we have is staying behind. We have 7.3 miles according to the map. When I was looking at the tracks that I've already had so far, we will end up doing around 22 miles by the time we finish this trip. We did, I think I misspoke, we did 10.3 yesterday, which isn't bad for a Sipsey trip. A lot of that was on a horse trail, but the second half was normal Sipsey stuff. So we're going to try to be on the trail by 8. If we start by 8, we've been averaging around 2 miles an hour. So we hope to be done around 12 before it gets too hot. Still supposed to be like 80, but it's supposed to be sunny today. So we expect it to be a little more warm and humid. We're both packing 64 ounces of water and light loads. So hopefully this will go by pretty quickly. And so we'll see you on the trail. Hopefully no snakes or hogs today. 8:13 now. A few minutes later than we anticipated. We're headed down the infamous Gun Pond Trailhead. We're not real crazy about this one because about 10 minutes from the trailhead last time we saw a timber rattler. So hopefully we won't see that today. So we'll be keep a good lookout. We're doing trail 210 to finish up our about 22-mile loop over 2 nights in the Sipsey Wilderness. We are taking a water break. It is 12:14. So we're going a little slower today. I looked at one of my tracking programs. It says we've been 3.3 miles out of 7.3, so we're just under halfway. We're kind of taking our time. It's sunny, but we're in the shade. We're following this ridge. When you first start this trail, you're at the bottom of a bluff, and then you do some switchbacks and get up to the top. And so far, we've just been kind of following this ridge line all the way around, kind of meanders in and out. Going a little bit slower today because of finding that snake yesterday. We are scanning our lanes, looking for movement. But it's a pretty good day. It's not as hot, not as humid. I'm not as sweaty. The sun's kind of cleared the humidity off. I think the high today was 80. And it's pretty nice catching a breeze every once in a while. So we're going to keep moving along. Here's a shot of the trail. It just kind of meanders down this ridge. Be a nice trail during the wintertime. The leaves are off. You get some good views, but we're not seeing much now. So we're going to keep walking. Alrighty, it is 11:20. We've been hiking a little over 3 hours. Getting kind of warm out here. I hadn't checked the thermometer. I don't know what the temp is, but I would say high 70s since the high today is 80 and it's getting, you know, up toward noon. Right now, as you can see behind me, we're following this old road. I don't know if it's a logging road, exactly what it is. But we'll walk on it sometimes for 5 feet. Sometimes we'll walk on it for 10 minutes. So what we're doing is just all these little switchbacks back and forth. We'll walk along. We'll come to the end of a draw. There's a dry stream. We'll cross out and we'll walk on the other side. So it's almost like we can see where we've either been or where we're going. No snakes. We are scanning our lanes, making sure we don't see any. No hogs, not much scenery. So I expect that we'll be done in the next hour, maybe an hour and a half. We are going slower. We are approaching probably 20 plus miles by now. And really 2 days, 2.5 days. So feet feel good. Not as hot as yesterday, or it's hotter, but it's not near as humid. So we're just going down this trail. Going to finish up. We're looking back forward to our cooler again, where we can have some nice cold Powerade. And I think we have a Diet Dew or some other stuff waiting on us. So just walking along, taking our time, trying to finish. Got an early start, early finish. So we'll see you at the trailhead. All right, so I lied. This is maybe just a minute or two after my last video. But you see the trail behind me, and almost without any uncertainty, we're going to end up over there. That's been kind of the plan for today. We've been kind of going back and forth following these ridges, this ridge, general up and downs, but there we are. We'll be there in just a few minutes. He's not really excited to move. For the record, I stepped about a foot away from that. Didn't see it. 12:36, out of water, walking the horse trail, looking for the Jeep, where we have a cooler full of cold beverages. Determined this is probably my last hiking trip till it gets cold. For one, I've done all but one trail, and the water situation isn't great. It's too hot, and just the snake factor kind of creeps me out. So I'm hoping I can make it to the car. Oh my gosh, what is that behind me? Is that the trailhead sign? That must mean I'm nearly there. So thank you for joining along on our approximate 22-mile hike through the Sipsey wilderness. We started off at this trailhead, Braziel, however you say it. We hiked down this trail for a short period. Then we went down 224 for 1.8 miles. Then we turned on we camped at trail 204. We hiked back to 223, I believe, all the way down to Borden Creek. We ate lunch. We hiked up 207 until we got to the Gun Pond Trailhead, where we went in, had food at Moulton, and we camped, and now we are back to the horse trail, and here we go, passing through the gate. That hike is over, cold beverages, hot shower, wash some stinky gear. Thank you for joining.